Consciousness is what determines the difference in human status. Consciousness, sentience, awareness is the determining factor between a 3D Terran of harmonic universe number 1 and an ascendant metahuman of fifth dimensional harmonic universe number 2. It's qualities of consciousness. The more conscious, the more aware an individual, the further they are from the animal condition, and vice versa. The level of consciousness is determined by the capacity of man to exist and act free from the lower animal nature or automatic mental conditioning, programming. The Anunnaki, the conquerors that are responsible for the Old Testament Bible, for the current condition of fear in this world of the 3D falling apart, programmed humanity. And the more you are beholden and under the spell of those words of the programming, the more you are a prisoner, a psychic automaton, so to speak. The mind can only function correctly when it is free from emotional disturbances, instinctive compulsions, and all that distorts and clouds its thoughts, its conduit to source, the still small voice of God that speaks to each of us. We could say that consciousness even, is that I which governs the mind. Consciousness is above the mind, the tool of intellect. However, it is possible to find an intelligent person who is unconscious, since intelligence and consciousness are two different things. Think about that, dear viewer, because physical phenomena can be measured, classified, and evaluated. Certain laws can be established. This does not occur with mental phenomena, since we are only aware of the conscious mind, which is but a small part of the whole. Now, when it comes to the subconscious mind, we are completely in the dark. It is a well-known fact that the subconscious mind is gullible and malleable and lacks the capacity for judgment. How does one determine when an individual is thinking with his subconscious or conscious mind? Who is a 3D Terran trapped in duality, acting like a non-player character under the spell of the Anunnaki? Or how can you determine one who is an ascendant metahuman, acting in full control with a clear conduit to source, a self-sovereign, self-empowered human being who has risen above the external savior program of organized religion and is in full control of their power? How? How can one do so? Ignorance of precise mental processes has led us to doubt that they are efficient. It has also led us to not recognize that perception can be seriously damaged due to factors that we are not aware of. Imagine if someone affirmed that all human beings are and have always been insane. What concrete means do we have to refute this? What points of reference do we have? Is it possible that the human mental state is imperfect? That the mind has lost or lacks certain essential qualities for its complete and perfect functioning? Therefore, the difficulty of studying and proving this phenomena is evident, because it would only be possible to do so by first acquiring the very qualities that are lacking. You must have a basis for comparison. If all you know is the programming of the Anunnaki, negative Anunnaki conquerors, you have never experienced life beyond your ego through the heart chakra, you have never opened up the higher energy vortices, then you have no basis for comparison. You are still asleep and you do not know anything except for your slumber. Now, beware though of this message of those, what we call the five senses prophets. Beware of the prophets of this world advising you from a material and human point of view, not a spiritual point of view that releases you to ultimate freedom. Because these material prophets, these prophets of organized religion, they do not know about spiritual matters and the reality of God's magic. To them, the reality of manifestation in God's magic is of Satan. They do not know, these material prophets, these Terrans trapped within 3D, they do not know that God is real, that God is the very foundation of who they are. The Magi and Jesus was a magus, Yeshua, are the direct inheritors of extraordinarily evolved extraterrestrial visitors who taught them the total development of the mind. The total development of the mind that goes through the Bifrost Bridge, the heart chakra. Now the deluded, the false magi of the Elohim worship cult, the Illuminati, the ones, the dark players, the dark controllers that have been in power up to this point, who are exponentially losing their power every day, every minute, every time someone clicks the like button on a video such as this, or shares it, or subscribes to this channel, they are losing their power. But the people that have been in control, the deluded false magi of the Elohim worship cult, of the negative Anunnaki, have the Stockholm syndrome. These individuals were treated in a brutal fashion, and that's all they know, and that is all that they feel in control with, that type of activity, and thus they have passed it along to us. But God has allowed this so that we may grow, so that we may understand the game and rise in frequency. But these individuals have the Stockholm syndrome. These individuals are those who study and profess certain disciplines to strengthen the will, educate the character, and achieve the perception of certain extrasensorial or supersensible, as Rudolf Steiner calls it, supersensible phenomena of the higher energy vortices, clairvoyance, clairaudience, and so forth. But ultimately, however, after undertaking these practices, these people caught up in the false systems of mental development, of spiritual development, they still lack the qualities which the true magi consider to be atrophied in the human Terran mind. And the true qualities is what the purpose of the Umbanda New Earth Ashram is all about: to investigate, to promulgate the knowledges and spread the information to todos los entes del mundo. So please stay along for the ride as we investigate the true qualities of the magi in the days ahead. Namaste. Namaskaram.